Hi, welcome to Productivity Monk. Let me paint you a picture. Take Dave for example. Dave is a middle-aged man who's going through a lot of crisis and problems in his life right now. He's going through a divorce, he's lost his job, he's suffering some financial issues, and he's lost touch with his kids. His life has spiraled out of control. There are lots of thoughts raging in his mind. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? What situation have you brought yourself into? These are all regrets and past demons that are haunting him again and again. Well, Dave is not alone. There are many millions of people out there who are suffering quietly like Dave. What's missing in their life? You see, in this fast-paced, competitive world, sometimes shallow, sometimes superficial, and highly image-driven society, there are lots of opportunities and possibilities for the world to show us individuals that we are not good enough. There's a lot of criticism, bullying, harassment, lack of appreciation, lack of recognition, and all of these things combined with the fact that we live in a consumption-driven economy makes us feel like we are not good enough. What ends up happening is that we end up going into self-criticism mode. What's the solution for all of this? The solution is self-compassion. You see, there are so many high-performing individuals who practice self-compassion, albeit subconsciously. This video will show you how to practice self-compassion in a conscious way so that you can lead a much better life. And whatever crisis or combination of crises that you are going through, this will be a key component for your recovery. Let's get started. Let me take you through the agenda. First of all, I'm going to talk about what is self-compassion, then what it is not. Then I'm going to talk about how we can practice self-compassion. At the same time, we're going to talk about the benefits. And to wrap it up, I will give some of my concluding thoughts as well. Self-compassion is basically the process of acknowledging your faults, your mistakes, your sufferings with caring, love, understanding, and without any judgments or evaluations of any kind. This concept was coined by Dr. Christian Neff, a research associate, and contains three components: self-kindness, mindfulness, and common humanity. Self-kindness talks about the fact that life's sufferings are inevitable. Mistakes and regrets are inevitable. And instead of just being harsh with yourself and critical of yourself and being angry with yourself, blaming yourself for a lot of these things, we need to be gentle, we need to be warm, and we need to be caring and understanding with ourselves. And just know that these will happen from time to time so that we can bounce back from it later on. Common humanity talks about the fact that we are not alone. We are not the only people suffering. There are millions of us, and a lot of people are suffering at the same time. When we are scrolling through Facebook or any other social media, we only see the best moments captured, but many individuals, many people suffer quietly. The third thing is mindfulness. You need to detach yourself from the situation and view yourself objectively. Do not go deep into yourself, emotionally speaking. Try to view yourself objectively, what has happened, in a detached manner, and introspect in a mindful way, without any judgment or evaluation. Self-compassion is not self-pity. Self-pity is basically branding yourself as a loser or a failure and deriving some sort of joy out of being a loser or a failure. Self-compassion is a mechanism to get strength, to get inner strength. So you just be with yourself, pat yourself on the back, and tell yourself it's going to be all right. You're going to keep pushing, but I'm there for you, and you are going to succeed. Self-pity is a negative version of that. It is also not self-esteem. Self-esteem talks about your self-worth, and it is a judgment, it is an evaluation. Whereas self-compassion refrains from judgment or evaluation. It's not self-indulgence. It's not giving yourself the freedom to be inadequate or to not challenge for your goals or to not push yourself. Self-compassion actually talks about pushing yourself. How to practice self-compassion? Firstly, you need to get comfortable with meditation. Self-compassion can go a long way with meditation. Just sit 15 minutes a day or maybe half an hour. Take a few deep breaths. Observe your breath. Second thing is that whenever you're confronted with a situation, whenever you do commit a mistake or whenever there is something that goes wrong, never personalize it and never blame yourself for it. The problem is that many of us think that it's our fault for everything. It's not your fault. Logically speaking, yes, there are certain ways you can improve it, but emotionally speaking, never take anything to heart. The third thing what you need to talk about is that we are good enough. Even if the world tells you you're not good enough, or you're not good, or you suck at something, or you're terrible at something, don't let that impact you. There needs to be an inner voice telling you that yes, you are good enough. I love you and respect you the way you are. When you want to try and improve yourself, don't go with the attitude that I need to correct myself or fix myself or there's something wrong with me that I need to fix. No. Go in with the attitude that I am good enough. I'm just going to go into a better version of myself. The fourth thing is family history. You should realize that sometimes while growing up, while you were a child, there would have been some memories or some instances which would have plagued your mind and which have led to a lot of subconscious thought pattern which has led you to this moment today. And there would have been some interaction with your family members, your siblings or your parents or your relatives or cousins or friends. Or understand that these are all normal and that you can outgrow. Spend some time introspecting about your life and spot what were those specific instances that pain you to this day. What's the trauma that you need to recover from? Once you do that, you'll feel a lot more relieved and you will not let those trauma convert into self-criticism and self-loathing, which is harming you today. The fifth thing what we want to talk about, think of all the good memories that you've had. Think of all the great appreciations that you've received from people about your talents, about your skills, about what you have done, and about what you've achieved. And make those the loudest voices in your mind. Revisit a past and a painful memory with a memory of being happy or fully recognized for something that you've done. And let that wash over your history and tell yourself that yes, there's a lot of good things in you. A lot of people have appreciated me in the past. And I am good enough and I will improve and I will grow. You need to be comfortable with being vulnerable. A lot of times what happens is because of the constant criticism you receive from the world and the constant self-criticism and personalization and the self-blame, self-loathing, what happens is we become deeply insecure. And because of that, we are afraid to show our vulnerability. We want to show to the rest of the world that we are invulnerable and that we are good, we are normal, we are perfect, we are fine. But deep down, we believe that we are not. So what ends up happening is just to maintain a good image of ourselves in the world, we end up lying. We end up trying to be someone that we are not. We end up being not really authentic. You need to get comfortable with the idea of being vulnerable so that you can be honest with yourself and honest with the rest of the world. The other thing I wanted to talk about is you need to rewrite a lot of negative scripts in your mind. There's something that I talk about called must and should. I must do this. I should do that. I have to do this. Otherwise, I'm a failure. Otherwise, I'm not good enough. Try to get rid of those kind of negative scripts. Turn it into something like, I can do this. I will do this. And if I fail at it, it doesn't define me. I'm still good enough. Positive self-talk is of the most importance when it comes to self-compassion. Work on it. Observe your thoughts and try to convert them into positivity. Stop thinking of the worst case scenario all the time. It's not helpful. Every time you're confronted with a situation, don't be anxious that, oh my God, it's going to be like this. It's going to be like the other day I made that mistake. Oh my God, it's not going to end well for me. Don't go down that path. When you're confronted with a situation, have self-belief. Have a dialogue with yourself that yes, things are going to be alright, things are going to be fine, and the outcome is going to be good for me. Self-compassion is a lot like having a best friend talk to ourselves on a daily basis. Having a best friend that checks in with you. The only difference is that best friend for yourself is you. So you be your own best friend instead of your own worst enemy and comfort yourself from time to time. Put an arm around your own shoulder and just say to yourself, it's going to be alright. I have full faith in you. I believe in you. You are enough. You're good enough. Make peace with your past. Don't be anxious about the future. Live in the present and keep working towards your goals. Don't let anything emotionally affect you. You've got this. And I'm here for you. And even if you do fail, don't worry. I'm here for you. You've done your best. And we'll give it a go again. Having that kind of friend will always motivate you. I've recently read this book, Ikigai, which I'm sure a lot of you would have read. Over there's a section on the Morita therapy. And the Morita therapy talks about the same exact thing. If you have failed in the past, or if you had a traumatic experience, just be there with that thought. But don't let it emotionally impact you. And don't try to immediately fix and correct something. Just sit there with that thought. without emotionally mulling over it. And just give yourself the comfort and the calmness. Once you do that, you will make peace with your past. You will make peace with your failures and the mistakes. And remember, failures are a stepping stone to success. Keep telling affirmations to yourself. I've got this. I believe in myself. I will do this. These affirmations subconsciously program your mind and fills it with positivity rather than negativity. Rather than self-doubt, you will have a lot of self-belief. Write a letter to yourself, kind of like a brain dump. Just write whatever's in your mind and then finish it off with some positive affirmations and the motivation to go further in your life. What are the benefits of self-compassion? One is it definitely helps with your overall mood. If you are practicing self-compassion, and you'll end up being compassionate with others as well, you will have the benefits of self-esteem without the pitfalls of self-esteem like narcissism and self-image issues and so on. It'll get better when it comes to procrastination, guilt, remorse, anxiety, regrets. All of these issues will definitely benefit from self-compassion, and you'll also end up being a more productive person in your life. You'll end up achieving a lot of your goals. It also helps with depression, it helps with stress as well. Be resilient, persevere at self-compassion. Feed yourself with as much positivity as possible. And all those negative thoughts, those self-defeating, self-limiting, derailing thoughts will go away. And you will build a successful future ahead of you. Thank you for watching this video. I would invite you to like, share, subscribe or comment down below. If you want more videos, hit the bell icon so that you can get notifications for the same.